Steven, I think they're ready for us. You ready?
Yep.
So, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of We Got Next. This is the 2 weeks out from the Super Bowl edition. I'm one of your hosts of the show, Hayes, aka O Shifty, with the one, the only Steven at Steven_Springs. Steven, there's been a lot that's been going on, I would say, this past week. I was texting my brothers just about some random event that's going to happen in the All-Star weekend that we'll dive into that I have a lot of thoughts about. We'll talk about X Factors with the Super Bowl, but kind of just starting everything off, just make sure you're all tuning in to what happens on the Twitter spaces. A lot has happened in the crypto world. Don't want to end up taking too much time here. To do that, I have an announcement at the end of the show that will impact kind of how We Got Next is going forward. I've been waiting a minute to end up saying that so I can finally end up announcing it today. The other thing is I will be putting out another episode of my thoughts on the Chiefs, Ravens, Lions, 49ers, and the revenue that's been going on within Taylor Swift as well. So that should be out soon. We're going to first dive into the hot take. Then we have some different things in finance that we're going to cover. And then I have a couple of things that we'll talk about in terms of the sports world. The first hot take I have, so we have four for today. I'll make it quick. So I was watching Gil's Arena. It was an older episode when Kenya Martin was on it. Have you seen this one?
He's on a few times, isn't he?
Yeah, so it was Kenya
Yeah.
Martin that was on, Rashad McCants that was on, Gilbert, and
Yo,
they were
first of
talking
all,
about,
real quick, why does Sean McCann always wear a crown?
don't even
Is there something behind that? Am I missing something? Or
I
like, do you know?
wish. I
All right.
honestly,
Well,
he really thinks he's the
he was
shit.
nice at, huh?
He really believes he's the shit. Like, if
Yeah.
you just see
Yeah,
the
he
way he
was nice
carries
at
himself.
Carolina though for a hot second.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I brought that up because Kenya Martin was talking about his story of it was April Fools and they were doing different jokes. They thought it was over. Long story short, J.R. Smith was the one that ended up filling up his car and stuff with like popcorn and whatnot. And the reason why I brought all this up, because I was really thinking about it, they were saying, who in their right mind would say, let's mess with Kenya Martin? And they're like, he doesn't have all the wires right in his head. And that's what you're
No,
gonna mess
never. No. That's one
like
of those guys I would never, if I was in the league, I would never try.
that's the one that they tried. So that was kind of the first thing, just reflecting because we were growing up on Kenya Martin and we knew that was somebody you don't mess with. Like it was him, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, like just don't mess with them. But it was always something about Kenyon Martin of, this man cares more about if he needs to fight than scoring,
Yeah.
if it came
Yes.
down to it. So the other thing, speaking of scoring, I wanted to kind of use that segue. We've seen a lot that's happened in the past 2 weeks that hasn't happened in years, whether it's Joel Embiid hitting over 70, Luca hitting over 70, D'Angelo Russell looking off LeBron James for a three, and
Transition three.
a transition three. Carl
Down
Anthony
one.
Towns going over 60 and Devin
No
Booker going over
loss.
60 in
No loss.
losses. Exactly. What are your thoughts when you see this many uh top scoring games so close to each other? I brought this up because of course on Gilbert Arenas' show and then I think it was Jeff Teague's show. They were talking about this is kind of the peak of the NBA right now because we're seeing so much scoring right now and we can only go down. You can't really go up. But what are your thoughts on everything
Yeah, I totally agree. Someone is going to score 100 points soon.
at this rate? Yeah.
I would say, like, give it a couple more years. I think someone's going to score 100 points. 73 and 70, like 60, like we see.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron's done it, Durant's done it, like Melo's done it. Like, there's been guys that have scored 60. Clay Thompson, I believe, has done it.
Yeah, with his threes.
I think Steph has come close. If not, he's done it. Like 60, like we've seen 70 though, bro. 70
Mm-hmm.
is so many points.
Twice.
Twice, dude. 73. And like Luka was on pace for 84 points at one point. He
Yeah.
stumbled in the fourth quarter for a couple minutes and it just fell apart. But 73 points, and he was so efficient from the field, from the three, from the line. He had 10 boards, he had 8 assists. Like I saw people that say like it's like they hate watching it, it's trash, like there's no defense. Like that's not the point. Like
Mm-hmm.
you still got to go out and do it. You got to go make the shots. And if you watch Luca's game, Man, he was hitting, and I watched that second half. He was hitting some tough shots.
Yeah, yeah.
Tough shots, dude. Like it is hard to do that. And it's hard to like be that efficient and be that good at something
Mm-hmm.
where you drop 73 points and it like there was nothing the Hawks could do. Every time down, he was just getting to a spot and it was cash all night. It
Yeah.
was nuts to watch. I'm just sitting on the couch like, what the fuck is this man doing?
Yes, every
Like no one could stop him. And like Booker was on the same path, but like he just he fell off. And like Luka
mm-hmm.
just sustained that. Like it was just so methodical. It was dude, I don't know what people are watching, but this is fun to watch.
Yeah.
This is great to watch. That's why I love watching the All-Star game. People say it's trash. Dude, these are the best athletes on the planet. And there's very few of them like that are doing it at a high level like those guys are. So I'm like, people have to enjoy this while they can. And like LeBron at 39 putting up a 30, 20, and 10 triple double. Like what? Like
Mm-hmm.
no one's doing that. So I don't think it's like I don't think it's bad for the league or anything. Like if anything, this is great for us. These
So
dudes are scoring 50, like 30 and 40 points is like nothing to these guys.
to
50,
go
even 50 is nothing. These dudes are dropping just absurd numbers, and it's crazy.
So I want to go back to your point, and then I'll bring up what you're just talking about. Steph Curry has had one 60-point game. It was January 3rd, 2021 against the Trailblazers. He had 62 points, 8 for 16 on the three-point shot. So that's solid 50% from there. The other part I wanted to bring up in terms of what we're seeing right now in the NBA, the top three scorers have over 31 points per game, and Embiid, Doncic, and Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA. Embiid has 36, Luka has 34, SGA is 31.3. And then you look on the flip side of that, the assists are up a lot. Halliburton's
Yeah.
averaging 12, Trae Young is averaging 10, Luka's essentially averaging 10, he's at 9.6. And then, but on the flip side, we're shooting so much, so the rebounds are going to be up high too. Because Sabonis is
Right.
averaging 13, Gobert is averaging 12, Jokic is averaging 12. So
Mm.
everything has gone up. And then you look at steals per game, players are averaging 2 steals a game.
Yeah, it's that's also impressive because it's so hard to play defense in the NBA now.
Yes.
And like, and now I'm not gonna say everyone can shoot, but like, there's an element to like a majority of the guys in the league that there's like some threat where they will shoot outside. There's
Mm-hmm.
very few that strictly stay in the paint or in that area. Like I mean, look at Brook Lopez, how he's literally like the perfect definition of evolving with the game. He was like back to the basket, back
Yes.
you down, true 7 foot center, and then like 2 seasons later, he's draining 6 threes in a game, like something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like
That's why
it's
his
just
brother's not in the
evolving.
league.
Yeah, it's
Like
nuts, dude. It's nuts.
one was able to do it, the other one wasn't. That was kind of the main part, just seeing the scoring and how it's going. Then we expect that now in the All-Star games, but it's the reverse now. In the All-Star games, some people don't like all the scoring that's happening there. They want less scoring and more defense,
Bro,
but
I'm
then
trying to
you
see these
guys
score.
enjoy.
I'm trying to see these teams score 200 points in the All-Star
That's
game.
what I'm saying.
Like, bro,
Yes.
I don't like now. There's like stretches like at the end, like the last like half of like the fourth quarter, where they'll play defense.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, that's also speaking of scoring. That's also like people say the biggest difference from the regular season to the playoffs and the finals, and as you get closer to that, like the level of defense picks up. Like
Yep.
it is hard to play defense, but like you stick to the basics in the playoffs, and like there's that's great defense. That's what makes like what Bron has done, what Durant has done, what Steph has done in the playoffs. All these guys in the playoffs. That's what like LeBron dropping 51, 8 and 8 in a finals game is unbelievable. Like
Yeah.
stat,
Hell
like what he
yeah.
did against the Pistons back in the day, and like what Durant has done. Like it's just like that's what makes those guys so much like better. So like so much like so much crazier than everybody else. Like Kobe, what he did back in the day, Shaq. Imagine if Shaq could shoot
Mm-hmm.
free throws at like 70%, what
Do
his
you
numbers
know
would have been
how
like.
many points exactly?
Bro, he
Yeah.
was like I did the math one time, and he would have like it would have been a 6 point swing if he would have made like 70% of his free throws.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also like what makes it so impressive is how hard it is to score, but then how hard it is to do it like as the season goes on, playoffs, all that kind of shit. So yeah, I mean, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it, like especially the All-Star game. This is the world's greatest pickup game, and it's so fun to watch that shit because like you don't get to see that all the time. So once a
Mm-hmm.
year, stop complaining about one a game a year.
That's what
Like
I'm saying.
one fucking game a year, dude.
That's
To
it.
fucking play
That's
about.
it.
Like, shut up. Shut up.
Exactly. So, and this year it's in Indiana, which, well, I have something we'll talk about when we get to the sports section. The next part is I heard this on Twitter. One of the most polarizing players for their basketball ability was Ben Simmons, and Ben Simmons is apparently supposed to be coming back. For starters, they legit two things I heard about. One, they said he's the perfect regular employee that knows how to play the system. Like
Yes.
my
Yeah, he's gonna run out of PTO like the rest of us. You know, us also tweet that out. That's a great tweet. He's using his PTO like the rest of us, bro.
Yes, he does. That's what he does. And when he knows it's about to be over, he's like, all right, I guess I got to go play for a little bit. And then on the flip side, they were bringing it up with Joel Embiid because they said, well, Joel Embiid is about to run out of PTO if he's going to try and go for the MVP because he only got like 4 or 5 games left. He
Yeah,
can use
yeah,
it on.
he uses, dude. It doesn't, and his doesn't roll over.
No,
It's
it doesn't. It's like, yo, you got
man,
to do it
only in
now.
sports, dude.
Only in sports. And that was kind of the big thing. And now kind of segueing into more only in sports that I was thinking about. So Jeff Saturday, and this really should be in sports, but it goes on the only in sports. Jeff Saturday, if everyone remembers, for a little bit, so he was with ESPN. Then he ended up going to the Colts as that random coach that nobody understood.
Yeah.
And the Colts were like, yeah, we're just not really going to bring you back. You weren't the right person. So think of it as almost you getting fired. And then another job says, you're good enough for us. Like you just got let go for you not being good enough. And then another company that is the leader in sports
Yeah, I was
said, no, you're
like
good.
a major company. It's not you're getting picked up, and you're like, yeah, he's one of the lead NFL guys.
You
He's one
see,
of the top names. Yeah,
you
only in sports,
cannot
dude.
imagine that in our industries of, we're going to let you go. Another company say, you are good enough for us. Like, come over here. They're going to be like, why did you get fired?
Like that's unbelievable, dude.
So
Unbelievable.
that was the other thing. Going into the football side of it before we switch into the finance, one, just 2-word answer, thoughts on the Super Bowl.
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. And then the next part is, so we were talking about it before we started the show. Tom Brady is now going to be in the booth for Fox. One, we don't know how he is going to be in the booth. And this is another only in sports. You're paying somebody, and we actually don't know if he's good on camera. Granted, we all assume he probably is just because of how we hear him talk and the way he carries himself. But you just got paid all this money.
Okay,
And they waited for
so
you.
I'm gonna tie Tony Romo into this eventually. So this might be like a word salad, a ramble, rant. So give me a second. Just follow along. So I'm all for like putting these guys in the booth, because like I look like I like Greg Olson. I don't know how you feel about him. I like Greg Olson. He's very new, but he's very excited. Obviously, he played at a high level, like breakdown wise. It's awesome. It's so much different though when when the guy's a quarterback.
Yep.
Troy Aikman, Tony Romo, all these guys like Herb Street, like we all have our favorites and we all have our guys that we like and don't like. But like the quarterback guys are so intelligent, dude. They just know the game on like such a different level. And I think part of it is like, I think part of the reason why people don't like Tony Romo is in the beginning, like he was so fresh from like playing. The game's like gone a little bit different. Like his IQ is still extremely high. Like don't get me wrong, still extremely high. But I think like having like a newer quarterback in there, even though Brady is old as shit, like having a newer quarterback in there who just played in the league, I think that's like super appealing. And like sucks for Greg Olson. He'll get picked up by someone, but
Easily.
yeah, for sure, because he's really good and super knowledgeable, obviously, and he gets excited about it too. But like that's why I love Romo. I think like I'm really hoping that Brady works out because I know people hate him, but like, dude, he's seen it all. He knows everything. He seems like a cool dude. I mean, like, sure, he was like, the biggest douche probably playing quarterback. People would hate him for that, but like, I'm sure he's a cool dude. Like, and I'm very excited about him doing this. But I think like with Romo, I think the reason why I like him is because, and I don't know if you like him or not, but you can answer that. But I think like watching him and listening to him is like watching the game with one of the boys. Like
Yeah.
he reacts, we all react the same way. And the biggest thing is, dude, this is like, it's live TV. It is live TV. And he gets like 10 to 15 seconds maybe to like quickly analyze what just happened and spit out something about like they show the replay real quick. But that's like, dude, that's like, it's 10 seconds on the fly. It's literally how we're doing it with the boys in the basement. It's the same thing where he has a live mic and broadcasting it to tens of millions of people, right? So like
Yep.
a little more difficult. What I thought about earlier, so I wanted to bring this up, this whole Romo thing. And people, I asked a bunch of people, like, do you like him? Do you not like him? I got a mixed reaction. I think like his knowledge for the game again is still so high. And like he like the calling out plays before it happens, like I don't know about you, I love that shit.
Yeah.
Like I think that's it just shows you where his level is of knowledge, where his level of football is. But I think people want a scripted reaction to a unscripted action. Like they want him to have something like so well thought out, like the moment like a big throw happens or a crazy tackle or whatever it is, they want him to like not like it's live TV, man. Like they're reacting the same way we are to like Odell's catch or a huge tackle or a big hit or whatever it is. Like they're reacting the same way we are, and like people want him to have such a perfect response to it. And like, yeah, sometimes you're like, dude, what are you talking about? But most of the time, it's like, again, they're just it's live TV, dude. Like I'm sure I can guarantee you, people listen to this and afterwards they're like, Steven, what the fuck are you talking about? Like we're just spitting this out, and it's live, and like I don't know how you do like Tony Romo. Let me
I
ask
think
you
he's
that.
I think he's
Fun, right?
good. Yeah, and even though the Eagles had to play against him all those years, when you get to hear someone analyze the game that way, it's big. I remember when Greg Olson was saying he was in the airport or somewhere and someone thanked him just for the way he explains the game. It allows people to understand it. Whereas back in the day, they weren't really explaining it this way. You get to know what the play is.
Yes. So that's the other thing. Like in those like 10 to 15 seconds that they get to like watch the replay as we're watching it too, and to like analyze it really quick, they're doing it on a level for people like you and me. What I would say, you and I have the same level of knowledge for football. I would say above average for the fans. So like, we can like text during game and like talk about shit and more in depth. And so he's catering to us, and he's catering to the people who really don't know or like are not like huge football fans or whatever. So he's trying to break it down on like the super intellectual level for people like you and I, and then also like the average Joe who's like maybe just watching the Super Bowl. Like, okay, perfect example, the Super Bowl. Like, not everybody that watches the Super Bowl is a football fan. It's just what we do as Americans to watch Super Bowl. So like he's breaking it down for us and those people, and like in 10 to 15 seconds. Like that's his job. And the guys like Jim Nance, Mike Tirico, the Fowlers of the world, the play-by-play guys, they're just so good and so well equipped to like handle it. Like they're not analyzing what just happened. But like Romo is, and Greg Olson is, and Tom Brady's going to be doing it. And like, I mean, I think it's, I mean, if people want to complain about it, there's a button on your remote that says mute.
Exactly.
You can just turn it off. Like, I mean, dude, how do you really watch the game? No matter what it is, do you really watch the game and you listen for them? Like, you're not watching the game for the announcers, right? Like, if you're putting that much stock into what they say, like if you're listening to the game and you're complaining about the announcers, like that's on you. Because like you can just turn the game down or like mute it, which I know you've done that before. I've done that before with basketball, football, whatever it is. I'll watch the game on mute. If I'm not feeling it, I'll just do it myself. I'll just like commentate to myself. But like just mute it. But I have no problem with these guys. Some of them say some shit like Chris Collinsworth. I really disliked him in the beginning, but I'm like, this is just who he is. Like, he says some corny shit. But like he knows it too. Like he's made fun of himself on broadcast before. So I mean, these guys are super talented, and I really, really do hope that Tom Brady is a hit. I like really hope he is, and he has enough like podcast stuff and all the other crap that like he knows what he's doing. He knows how to talk about football and break it down. Like, but doing it live in front of millions of people, a little bit different, and I'm sure he'll be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just right.
So that's really how I feel as well. I'm excited for the potential for him to be out there, one, because he's, as much as we all love Tony Romo, Tom Brady can analyze the game to even a deeper extent. And that's kind of what I'm looking forward to, kind of seeing what he's going to bring and how he's going to be there. Fox couldn't turn down an opportunity. No offense to the Ravens, but I view it as the same way the Ravens are like, oh, we don't know what type of Odell we're going to get. We're just going to like throw him the farm. Fox had to do the same thing. Like, we don't know what type of talent, but to get Tom Brady, we can't say no to that.
You don't have a choice.
Because yeah, you don't have a choice. Because if you didn't get him, CBS would have been like, look, Tony, you got to go. NBC would have been like, look, Kirk, you probably got to go, or Amazon, whoever. Everyone's just going to have to go. And so the other one I always think about, Trent Green. I'm pretty sure Trent Green does some CBS games as well. And just hearing the quarterbacks, it's great. It's okay when you hear people like Aqib Talib or one of the McCourty brothers and like
the
Tiki
knowledge
Barber,
is just different, man. It's just different.
Yeah, and like Jonathan Vilma, it's different. But when you hear a quarterback, one, no offense, the quarterbacks know how to speak so that we can understand it in the correct terminology. So that's kind of the big
other
thing.
guys. The other guys we can relate more to because it just feels like you're watching the game with one of the boys. Like, have you ever heard Mark Sanchez do a game on? I think he does Fox, or I think he does Fox.
No, heard RG3.
Yeah. Okay. That's a little bit different. RG3 is so out of pocket sometimes it's not even funny. Mark Sanchez reacts like to a big throw or big run or big tackle, whatever, like just like the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, he's a quarterback, but like you just feel like it's watching like the game with one of your boys. That's really all we're hoping. These are just two regular dudes, man. They're just two guys calling a football game. Like,
that's exactly.
Dude, that's a dream. Like they're having a great time doing it too.
Exactly. Now, one thing I will bring up is because you brought up Mark Sanchez and Dan Orlovsky, they've had two of the worst plays in NFL history, but they know the game and they still found a way to get a job. So if that doesn't give people out there hope, only in sports. Someone ran into the back of their own player and the other person ran out of the end zone. And they still got jobs. And they still get joked on to this day for those two things. So
all the time.
Yeah. So I'm going to run through some finance things because tomorrow's about to be goddamn Christmas for me. And then we'll go into different things with sports. Number one thing is, for anyone that's ever been on Solana, you've probably heard me bring up Jupiter. So Jupiter is an aggregator that's over on Solana. You can exchange different SPL tokens. Well, they're rewarding people in the form of an airdrop tomorrow. So in one of my wallets, I'm going to get 20,000 Jupe tokens. And here's the thing. They're talking about right now that it's going to be valued at 60 cents out the gate. Some people have said $1. I don't want to go that high, but if it went that high, it'd be amazing. One person said it would go up to $5. If it went up to $5, I promise you, I'm just quitting my job tomorrow. I don't care like what job I'm at. And then, so that's in one of my wallets. Another wallet that I do with like some of the homies, we have 20,000 as well. So I'll end up bringing up next week kind of how it went. Focus on some different NFTs that are going to be out there because when the Jupe tokens are dropped at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, a lot of NFTs that people focus in on, they'll move that money into. So they call it Jupuary. The other one is Overworld. Overworld will be having a token that'll be released too. Third one is Pudgy Penguins. Continue to focus on them. The little Pudgies and the Pudgy Penguins are NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain. And what's wild is most people wouldn't guess, but a Pudgy Penguin right now is going for over $30,000. A little Pudgy is going for close to $4,000. So
that doesn't even make sense.
That's the other important thing. So when baseball comes on, we'll do the game we did last year in terms of showing Steven various different NFTs and giving his thoughts on them. But we still have sports and stuff going on right now. Another airdrop to pay attention to is the Dimension airdrop. When I am in Greece, I am able to collect it, but since I'm in America right now, I cannot collect that airdrop. But it's the DYM. Just go to their website. They do have geo tracking on, so just hint, hint, wink, wink as to what you need to do over there. And the final one is for anyone that has the Saga mobile phones, they do have a Saga 2 that has come out, and you can start getting the pre-orders for the collection of the Saga Genesis token that's out. If you have any question on that, just hit me up. I know some people have, and I talked to some people about, yo, did you end up picking up this drop? Did you pick up that one? So just kind of continue to pay attention. One last thing I'll tell you about the Saga. mobile. So we did have a Saga DAO, and what we all did is put money together because we were trying to do this thing called Noter, which in terms of farming airdrops on different chains. And the worst part is the person that was in charge of it was holding on to $50,000 for everyone that was doing it. Well, he ran off with the plug essentially. What he said was, oh, somebody hacked my account. And they were like, how did somebody hack the account when you need a multi-sig, which meant 12 different people had to approve it. But in the multi-sig, it was 12 different people had to approve it, but there was one command address that could essentially overthrow all the other ones. And they found out that that address that can overthrow it was the dude's other address that he just never told anybody about. So he approved it, and then he just took the $50,000, and now it's saying it's the worst day of his life. So for anyone that lost money out there, I feel bad for you all. Some people sent $69. I just sent the bare minimum of 69. So I wasn't upset, especially when this Jupe token's about to drop. But for those that it was like $100 to $200 that they lost, I do feel bad for you guys. They're gonna try and make it back. I'm not a dummy. I don't trust people twice. If you do it to me once, like that's it. I'm not gonna trust you with my money again. But those are the main things over there. I will be talking tomorrow because tomorrow's a huge day. Again, like I said, I want to go back into the sports side of things because there's like 4 different things that we need to talk about. The first one we're going to bring up is this random different event, and I'll let Steven go on his soapbox first because it is Sabrina Ionescu going up against Steph Curry in a 3-point contest. The first thing that pissed me off before Sabrina ended up like butting in was Sabrina was going to shoot with the women's basketball from the women's 3-point line, and Steph was going to shoot from the men's 3-point line with the men's basketball.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Because that just sounds stupid.
I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna watch it. I no, that just sounds like, what are they doing it for? Like, what's like? Is there like a charity aspect to this thing, or is there like
they both end up donating money?
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it. That sounds fucking stupid. Like, I'm not like that's like the Pro Bowl. I'm not gonna watch the Pro Bowl or like the skills competitions or anything like that. I mean, what are we doing? You know, like what are we doing? Like, and then I also saw she tweeted out that she would shoot from the men's line,
which she should.
Which for sure. For sure. And I think they should do both. I think actually they should do both. I think Steph should shoot from the women's line with the women's ball, and she should shoot from the men's line with the men's ball.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Steph would obviously win both. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, but I'm not gonna watch that. Unless you do that, I'm not gonna watch. Still, even if you did that, I want to watch.
So I was texting with my brothers with that, and we were like, what is the point of even doing this? Like, we looked at the courts, and nothing makes sense as to why they should do that. But I know Sabrina had a great 3-point contest last year. I just still don't think it's something that was needed.
Yeah, no, that was pretty legit. That was pretty dope.
Yeah.
She fucking killed it. I think she missed what, 3 shots?
Yes. Like she went on a streak.
That's super impressive. Super impressive. But yeah, I'm not gonna watch it.
So 2 things. Well, we're gonna segue into the other thing with sports that we were supposed to bring up last week, and we're gonna bring it up this week. But before then, when you were talking about Kirk Herbstreit, I just went down a Kirk Herbstreit rabbit hole. Do you know what his speaking fee is?
Speaking fee?
Yes.
I'm sure it's
a
staggering number.
$50,000 to $100,000. So this man, one day, one speaking event is how much essentially some people's salaries are.
Wow, that's good for him.
So shout out. So the other thing I wanted to just bring up is the Olympic team. So currently it's 41 players' names in the pool for the Olympic men's team. Draymond Green said that if they brought him out there, he would definitely end up accepting it and going. I don't think his bags will be packed. When you look at this team and all the players, some people are going to get their egos hurt. Like, it's so tough for you to look at it. There's obvious ones, but when you look at the nitty gritty, it's maybe a 20 that it's really hard to think about who. And just kind of going through some of the, like, I don't think Bam Adebayo is going to make it. There's just, and then I think it's Jared Allen, Ben Caro, Desmond Bain, Scotty Barnes. I don't know. All of them are no's. But then it's Devin Booker. Does he make it? Does he not? Bridges doesn't really matter. Brunson, I don't think he gets in. My complex one is Jimmy Butler. Does Jimmy Butler get it?
So I'm finding it right now. I'm looking at the names, trying to find them all. Okay, so definitely has to be starting five is going to be LeBron, Durant, um, Steph, AD, and probably I guess Joel Embiid. But like Aaron Gordon, no thanks. Halliburton, eh. Harden, yes.
Exactly.
Adebayo, no. Jared Allen, no. Paolo Banchero, no. Desmond Bain, hell no. Scotty
Hmm.
Barnes, no. Devin Booker, corny. Mikal Bridges, no. Jalen Brown,
No, that's what's wild. This man makes the most
it,
money in the NBA, and we don't know
like
about
he's
anything.
all right. So he's exciting. He's exciting. Jalen Brunson, no. Jimmy Butler, probably he's an OG now.
Yeah,
Caruso, no. Curry, starter. Davis, starter. Durant, starter. Edwards, exciting. Face the league
does he
potentially in the
make it?
future.
Yeah.
Embiid, yeah, you had to put John Embiid on it. Fox, no. PG, yes. Aaron Gordon, no. Halliburton, no. James Harden, yes. Josh Hart, no. Hero, no. Holiday, no. Holgram, no. Hell no. Brandon Ingram, no. Kyrie, yes. Jaren Jackson Jr., no.
No.
LeBron, starter. Cam Johnson, no. Walker Kessler, no. Kawhi, yes. Dame, yes. Donovan Mitchell, yes. CP, yes. Bobby Portis, no. Reeves, no. Duncan Robinson, no. Tatum, yes. Derek White, no. Trey Young, yes. I don't know how many I said yes to, but
You see, and that's the
that's
point
fair.
because I was over 12. And that's the thing of
Was it? Yeah.
yes, like someone's gonna get their feelings hurt. That was the
Uh,
easy part, getting to that point. Then
I
what do
would
you do?
say Trey Young wouldn't be on.
Hmm.
Um, maybe Donovan Mitchell.
I don't
Maybe
think Brown and
Kyrie.
Tatum both get it.
No, Jalen Brown. No, I don't think he would get it. I don't think. But like, does Devin Booker get in?
Exactly.
He's exciting. Um, Anthony Edwards, I would say no. I think he could be because he's an exciting player, good player, like one of the young superstars, but probably no. Um, Paul George, eh.
Hmm.
Chris Paul, eh.
Hey, his
Um,
time might be done.
eh, you know. But yeah, Kawhi, LeBron, AD, James Harden, the guys that were on like the 2012 team,
Hmm.
I think those guys are locks. Chet Holmgren, why is he on this list? Austin Reeves, why is he on this list? Like Bobby Portis, what are we doing? Like we all know who's gonna be on the team. We all know who the
Exactly.
starting line's gonna be.
Yeah.
But how many players is it? 12 members.
12. That's crazy.
That's a
So you're splitting the
when is
All-Star
this
game in
decided?
half.
When is this
Close to the summer. So
oh
probably after the
July 10th.
finals. Yeah.
July 10th. Okay.
So that's kind of the big thing there. The other quick thing I wanted to ask you, and then we're going to reserve next week to talk strictly Super Bowl. Explain, and I guess in a couple of words, is it important or not for the Senior Bowl in college?
Yeah, I think so. I think all right, so I'm super all about like the scouting aspect of things and the combine. I love the combine. Um yeah, I think it's just another level of competition. Because you're going up against, guys who have played football for, 4 or 5 years, the best of the best. And it also shows like consistency, the work you've been doing between the end of the season and now. Just got to check all those boxes, and it's just another way for teams to see these guys play. They're not going 100%, but like,
Hmm.
there's definitely times where they will in drills, and you want to be the top dog, all that kind of good shit. But the combine's the same way. Is the 40 important for everybody? No, but like it kind of is. And like the
Hmm.
10-yard split for offensive linemen, for tight ends sometimes, for D linemen, linebackers, like those areas are like enormous because like that 10-yard split. I know you got to like the rest of the 40, they do it, but like 10 yards for a linebacker, or 10 yards for like a safety, like that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, like those aspects of it, the drills, the fluidity, like the whole thing is, I think they're all extremely important. So to answer your question, yes, I think it is extremely important for these players.
Yeah. So we'll end up diving into that a lot more because, of course, they're saying Michael Penix is out there and they want to see what's going to happen with him. But kind of closing up, what you got for everyone?
So we have a keypad for our front door, and it
Hmm.
broke, or like it got messed up, the wires inside got fried. So we get a new one, and our electrician came out and he said, "Do you want to get a smart one that you can lock with the keypad, like physically, or lock from your phone? or just a regular one? I was like, dude, just get a regular one. I don't really give a shit. He goes to Lowe's, comes back, and he says, hey, this smart one was on sale. So I bought it. So it was like half the price. I was like, word, okay, cool. Yeah, that's a huge game changer that I can lock it, like walk out of the house, turn around and lock it. But I can also like unlock it right now, like from my phone. So if we have
Yeah.
like a dog walker coming over or friends coming over and like we're not home or this and that, just go on like this app and do that. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like that we can do that. And shout out to my electrician for
Shout out.
giving
That's good.
me it cost us a few extra bucks, like in the grand scheme of things, but like dope, good call. I appreciate that. So that's
Yeah.
what I got.
Shout out. So,
I know.
of course, I've been teasing it for the past 2 weeks. I can officially say it. So I'm no longer, and both jobs are going to know this, I'm no longer going to actually work for Freddie Mac in 2 or 3 weeks. I got another job, so I'll be the director of finance for this other company. I won't tell you guys on the air. I'll tell someone off the air, but just know I'll be working with a lot of people named Billy. That's not the real name,
Shout out.
but the Billies love the guns. That's the type of
Shout
company
out to
I'll
the
be working
homie.
with. Yeah, so shout out.
Love,
And
love.
this will be like the first time I'll be able to travel in different things. Oh, yeah, you'll be able to go to Sweden. So I was like, bet, say less. So I'll be able to do that and go to Vegas for like trade shows and stuff too. So I'm saying all that to say a lot more will come down the pipeline with like we got next in terms of more different episodes will be coming out because I'll have more time. I was even telling like the new job of like the work-life balance is kind of a big thing and just also having time to do things that I want to do. But then because of like these different airdrops that are coming in terms of crypto, more money is going to be put into either marketing and stuff when it comes like that. For we got next, this mic that be falling sometimes won't be happening anymore this year. I'm also getting a new computer this year, so a lot of things are going to
Oh,
kind of
thank
like
God,
game
dude.
change. Yeah.
Thank
So
God.
so
Jeez,
I've been
dude.
waiting to say all of this, and now I can start investing so much more into it. We did this for like 2 years, and now the game changer is starting to come. I have ideas for like hopefully down the road, maybe like all-star games and other things like that. I would want to like either park out front or even like go to or different like important games that are in the area. And now we can start to do a lot of these things.
We're gonna be doing Penn State spring game this year. We can do
Yep.
Blue White weekend.
Exactly. So these are all things that can start to end up happening and will go down the pipeline. So it really starts with the blue white game. That's the first one. And then, of course, there's other ones that will start to surprise you all down the line. But other than that, until next week, Lions, I don't know how you blew it. Ravens, you're not at that point yet. We out.
Peace.